What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have this plant here named Frederick because somebody made the comment that my setup looks a little plain. So Dennis, if you're watching this is your fault or your benefit. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it looks like when I post the video. But anyways, today we're going to talk about a question that we as realtors get asked all the time, and that is, when is the absolute best time to sell? What is the best month to list your property? What is the best week within that month to list your property? What is the best day to list your property on so that the most amount of buyers will see it and be able to go through it? And overall, does it really matter all that much? So before we jump in, if you're new here, what's up? My name's Andre. I'm a real estate agent servicing Simcoe County and the surrounding areas here in Ontario, Canada. Now, overall, you've probably heard that springtime is the best, or generally the best time to list your home on the market. It's nice and warm outside. You can wear a t-shirt and shorts to your viewings. The grass is green. The yard in the house looks really pretty. It doesn't get dark at like 4 p.m. and then you have to go bring a flashlight just to go see other areas of the home outside. And generally these factors bring out the most amount of buyers during the spring market. So the most amount of buyers that we generally see and the most amount of sales happens in the springtime due to these factors. More buyers shopping around for real estate equals more demand, which means more viewings on your listing, which potentially results in a higher probability of having multiple offers or overall just selling for a higher price. So because of these natural factors, that's why the spring market is the best time to list your property. Think about if you wanted to sell your car, are you going to try and sell it in the wintertime if you could hold off to the summer? In the wintertime, there's slush. If you have to go drive and meet a buyer, your car's probably going to be dirty. It's going to have salt on the road. It's just not going to look as good as opposed to the springtime or the summertime where you could have your car washed. It looks clean. It looks nice. And when it looks nicer, there's a better chance that this buyer might pay a little more for your car or a little more for your home. However, there's also something really important that you need to consider as a seller if you want to list your property in the springtime. More buyers in the spring market results in more listings on the market, which then results in more competition for your property. So although overall springtime is the best market to sell your property in, it actually depends on your specific situation as a seller and the product that you're going to be selling or the house itself. Looks, presentability, wow factor, and uniqueness play a really important role on whether or not your property is going to stand out in the spring market or fall behind and just be viewed at as a stepping stone towards what buyers might potentially pay much more for. And in terms of presentability or product, we've seen time and time again that properties that need work tend to stay on the market longer and sell for a little less if there's sufficient amount of supply or competition around them. You need to look at your house as a product, and naturally a buyer will gravitate towards the best deal. So if your property needs work and you're listed in the springtime, they're going to look at another property that's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more, but has nicer finishes, and they're going to make that as a comparison saying, okay, this property needs this much, this property already has that, so let's pay more, get a little bit cheaper mortgage, or it's cheaper for us to get higher mortgage as opposed to take that cash and renovate this property. So your property is going to be left behind while this property in the spring market will sell for more. Now, vice versa, if you look at it from a winter perspective and your home does need work that you do not want to put into it, the wintertime generally has less supply, less buyers, but the buyers that are looking are usually very serious. They're investors. So if your property needs work, it might be better to list your property in the wintertime when overall there's less inventory, so there's less competition for your property. Also, the buyers that are looking, the investors, they understand and they're not going to give you a headache or they're not going to cause problems. You might actually have a smoother transaction in the wintertime than you would in the springtime. But for the majority of sellers out there, listing in the spring market is the best time to sell your property, and that includes the months of May, June, and before the end of July. The reason for that is because the end of July and August are generally some of the slowest months in real estate because it's the end of the summertime. Buyers want to enjoy some time off at the beach, sellers want to remain in their homes, and overall these natural factors, they just really slow down. I have another YouTube channel called The Townhouse Team where every week we look at stats on townhouse market updates and sales in the city of Barrie, and as you'll see from August 1st to 31st, we had like 2 or 3 listings every week and even less sales. But then once we hit the second week of September, things went up again, and before August, we also saw a ramp up in double-digit listings, so check it out. But generally, August is one of the slowest months for real estate, so you want to avoid that at all costs because you want the most amount of buyers looking for your property. List before then or afterwards, so that you're not stagnating your property and you're not listing on the second week of August. It's on for 3 weeks, and then once all the buyers come back, they're going to try and get a deal because they've seen you've been on the market for well over 25 days. Now, obviously you didn't click on this video just to hear something that you might have already known, but let's really dive in here. What is the best week within that month to list your property? It's not an exact science, and it's going to differ from market to market, but personally from my research, I found that listing on the second or third week is the best time within a given month, because usually on the first of the month there's deadlines or the schedules or there's different things that get thrown at buyers, whether it be from work or family, whatever it might be, and by the second or third week things are usually settled back in, so that's when they go out and start looking at houses again. I've just generally seen a little more boost of activity and boost in sales on the second or third weeks of any given month, and the first or fourth are usually a little bit slower. Listing on the last week of any month does also work as well. Don't not list if you have to move somewhere on the last week and then have to wait 2 weeks to list on the second week. It's just better psychologically, really, that if you're listed on August 31st and then buyers are viewing this on September 3rd and they're like, oh, when was this listed? The agent's going to say August 31st. And mentally it's just like, oh, well, they've been listed since last month, even though you've really been listed 5 days. So it's better to keep it within the same month, within the same period, to really optimize what you could sell for. Now, as mentioned, and this statistic is going to vary, but the best day to list your property within a given week is either on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And you can pick which day you want to list on, whether you want to list on a Tuesday, hold offers till the following Tuesday. Maybe you want to do it a little bit quicker, list on a Thursday, open to preemptives, but offer date is set for Tuesday, or whatever you want it to be. But it's really important to list well before the weekend, because it takes some time for your listing or your property to get pulled into all these different websites and to start being advertised to the realtors and buyers out there. So if you tell your real estate agent to list your property on a Saturday morning, there's a good chance you might get 1 or 2 showings for Saturday evening, and then really all these buyers have is Sunday, and the work week is right around the corner. But if you list on a Thursday or Thursday evening, preferably, by Friday, the listing goes out everywhere. Saturday they can book showings, Sunday they can book showings, and then Monday or Tuesday you can hold offers or have additional buyers see the property. It's not the end of the world if you have to list on any given day, but preferably you have the weekend in there, because if you list on a Monday, and you accept offers by Friday, there's a good probability that some buyers aren't going to be able to make it out to see your property. Maybe they work in the city, they can't come out for the evening, and then they don't get the weekend to view your property, and that's potentially an offer that you miss out on, which ultimately would give you a higher price for your home. And just for you, I'm gonna put that little cherry on top and tell you that the best time to list, either on a Tuesday or a Thursday, on the second or third week of May, June, or early July, is between 5 to 7 p.m. Because if you publish it in the morning, there's a chance that you might get a showing around the evening time for buyers that want to see it. It might interfere with your dinner time, your schedule on that day, but if you post around 5 to 7 p.m., it gives you a lot of hours and a lot of time for this listing to be distributed everywhere overnight. And usually around 6 or 7 p.m., agents aren't going to be looking to book a showing and go check it out within that same hour. They're going to book for the next day, so it gives you a better chance to accommodate them with your schedule. So there you have it. Depending on what your property looks like and your personal situation, the mentioned days, hours, and weeks are the best time to list your property if you want to optimize your sale price, backed up by real numbers that I've researched and I found and we use every time we list our properties. And the honest answer as well is that yes, it does in fact matter when you decide to list your property, because ultimately the amount of current and active buyers in the market looking for a home that you're putting up for sale largely depends what it might sell for. If there's only one buyer looking, you're only going to get the price of that one buyer. If there's 3, 4, or 5, you might get multiple offers, or they might come in and see all the showing cards that other agents have left behind, and this buyer says, I really love this home, I'm going to give you an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 more to be able to get it before anyone else, or because of my situation I need it and I will pay you more for it. So getting in front of as many buyers as possible maximizes the opportunity of what you can sell for, and that's why it is important. So if your property does need work, yes, list it in the wintertime to actually maximize what you can get for it, so that your property isn't stagnated and left behind. But if you have a really beautiful home, it's better to wait for the springtime, because you do have a better probability of getting more for your property in the final sale price. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and got some value from it. Make sure to check out one of these 2 videos as well for some more awesome real estate content from me. And I will see you... What are you doing, man? You're supposed to give me oxygen. And looking forward to see you in the next video with me and Frederick.